All right. Good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody doing today? Feels like a heat wave out there. It was -2 yesterday when I came in and 24 this morning. So, you know, it's almost like we're in Florida. Not quite, but got a ways to go. Very excited to have you here today in a limited audience, but also streaming on their channel 955. Question for the group. We're going to have a number of presenters today. We do have a substantial amount of space in between the presenters and the audience. Would you, yay or nay, have the presenters take their masks down when presenting?
Yes.
Group consensus is yes. Okay, so for those that are presenting, if you would like to take your masks down, you are welcome to do that. If you decide to sing during your presentation, you may have to put your mask back up. So speaking of singing, no, I'm just kidding. So first and foremost, we have a couple, you see the agenda, it's fairly full. You also see we have a couple of additions on there, and the first one being Ken Kernan, our board chair, who I'd like to welcome up at this time to give an update just from a board perspective and also just a few announcements from the board. And then we also have Kathy Johnson, who's going to be doing a resident council update. And this is going to be a standing agenda item on the state of the castle. And I don't think it'll always be Kathy, maybe it will, who knows, but a council member will give you an update about what's being said, what's being done, what's being talked about, any relevant updates from the council that's working very closely and very hard to continue to improve what we're doing here at East Castle Place. So without further ado, I will introduce Ken Kernan. He is our East Castle Place and Milwaukee Processing Home Board Chair. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you. It's tough because Tyler tells you how cold it is and then he invites me up here. Actually, I'm here for two reasons today. The first reason is because there's a lot of excitement surrounding East Castle in the midst of what's going on with all of us with the pandemic, of course. But the excitement of the renovation is really starting to come into full focus. As the lead LCS says, all the trains are coming to the station at the same time. There's been a lot of hard work, and we're keeping you and East Castle Place as our focus through all of it. We talk about it all the time, how the aura and the lifestyle and East Castle Place as a structure is so important and top at our list of priorities when we talk about the renovation. That being said, unfortunately for us on the board, we're going to be losing 3 members this year in October. So, and that is a large portion of the people who are really have high priorities within the renovation and all throughout what we've done with East Castle. The majority of them sit on 1 or 2 committees, construction committee, and they are all steeped in finance. So we're going to lose a really strong portion of the board in the financial area. So one of the things I'd like to do is, you are our greatest resource. So I'm coming and asking you, if you know someone, son, daughter, relation, friend, anyone who might have what you think are the qualifications that you would like to see them sit on the board of directors here at East Castle, please, you can either come to me directly or go to Tyler with the information, contact information, and let us know so that I'd be more than happy to interview them. We'd like to get them sooner than later because we would like to get them up to speed before October. We don't want to start looking when the 3 members leave. So again, if you know somebody that personally that you would like to submit to the nominating committee, that would be much appreciated. Carolyn.
What are the qualifications?
we go through it, like right now, you don't have to have a qualification per se. People that are in the financial arena, so they can come from any walk of life, right? So we have one of our members is in the banking industry, and he's on the investment committee. Another one, Barb, was used to be an accountant before she transferred, and now she was a board member for 9 years. Tony is probably the one that we're gonna miss the most, because he's the most rounded of all of the board members, really, in my view. He has a financial and marketing background, and so it doesn't, you don't have to slot into one specific place, but that's where we're leaning towards, is to look for somebody with financial background that could help when these people leave.
Thank you.
So, sure. Are there any other questions at all? It is really an exciting time here at East Castle, and I've been associated since like before 2010. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a potential groundbreaking like March or April, probably more towards April. So thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And next up, of course, is Kathy Johnson, our resident council president.
Thanks, Tyler.
All yours, Kathy.
Okay. Oh, it's so nice to have this on. Okay, I'm so excited to be here. We decided that we needed to be here, and I thank Tyler for agreeing to let us come every month and give a little report on the council, because the council deals with so much of what makes this place such a special place to live. And we work on issues and problems. Tyler's been very gracious about listening to us and working with us. A couple things though I want to tell you. First of all, I just slipped into your mailboxes yesterday the resident committee connections. And if you don't know what that is, I have been putting that in your mailbox every other month for probably at least a year. And what it does is it tells you what's going on with the standing committees of the council. And those committees are responsible for a lot of those activities, for the movies, for connecting with the dining room people to make sure that the meal plan is working well, that the food is good. Working with our environmental situation here. The trash rooms are going to start to look real nice, and Marion Frawley has been just working diligently on that issue and making sure that we are doing things that are good for our environment as well as good for us here at East Castle. So the movies I wanted to talk about was one of them. And I want to first of all thank Augie Mortellero, because he is so dedicated to those movies twice a week. But Augie can't be doing it all. He needs a little assistance, somebody who can cover when he's not available, who's comfortable with showing movies. We're going back to DVDs for a while due to some problems with streaming. But if there's anybody out there who is comfortable with streaming movies, talk to Augie, because we really want to get the movie situation better. Right, Augie?
Right.
Right, okay. So, and if you have movie ideas, there's at the desk and in the mailroom, there's the box to put your ideas in. But we're really looking for people to help. The other thing we're looking for some help with is Marion Frawley, what used to be called the Green Committee is now the Environmental Wellness Committee. She did a bang-up job last year with her group on Earth Day back in April. She's starting to think about that and work on that now. So any of you who might be interested in working on issues related to this building and how we interact with it, all the garbage we produce, so on and so forth, how can we be earth-friendly living here? So what do we need information-wise? What do we need to be doing procedure-wise? If anybody's interested in working with that, please contact Maryland. And that little resident committee connection document has all of the contact information on it. I list all the people who are on the board, who are leading the various committees, so that you can contact them. So please do. We've also been working on a couple of things, had worked on a couple of things that were facing people here. The swimming situation with the swimmers coming in, and I understand from Pat that seems to have worked out okay or be working okay. So we're glad to tackle that kind of a problem that affects, you know, if you have a light bulb out in your apartment, the council doesn't need to know that. But if you're experiencing some kind of an issue that you think a lot of people are, or a number of people are affected by, please let somebody from the council know so that we can talk about it and work with Tyler and resolve the situation. The other thing that particularly Gil Church has been working on is getting that directory, the resident directory, getting that process sort of up and going so that we get more regular updates. So he'll be working with Judy from the Welcome Committee and Barbara Hill from the Community Life Committee, the Lifestyle Committee, so that we get that up and going to you a little bit more timely. So there's a lot going on, and we really need to hear from you, because unless we have residents who are engaging with those committees, ultimately there's nobody to be on the committees or to really get the work done. So we really rely on all of you to be working with us. Feel free to come to a council meeting. We meet the third Thursday of every month, 9:30 right here. Just let me know if you want to be coming, just in case we're dealing with something that we don't want. We need to sort of work on privately for a little bit. So, but always welcome to see you and interact with you in terms of how to make this place a better place. Any questions or concerns I can address for you? Okay. Well, it's wonderful to be on the council and working hard for, we have a good council, don't we, Augie? I think so. We have Augie and Judy are both on it. I don't know if there's any other members here. So we enjoy doing it and talk a lot, don't we? Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Kathy. And I assure you, they don't just talk. They oftentimes get a lot accomplished within those meetings. So it's fantastic to work alongside the council. They really have been a fantastic group to solve problems and to actually help me, as well as I'm working through some of the changes, communications, whatever it may be. So thank you, Kathy, and thank you for the update. The next individual up is Lindsay Vigut. Lindsay is going to give us an update from a COVID perspective. I'll give one more as well. And then also there was a resident question regarding KN95s. Lindsay, take it away.
All right. Good afternoon. Nice to see you all in person per usual. So from a COVID community update, since the last time we met in December, we've had obviously an uptick in COVID cases, specifically in staff members, and that is due to the Omicron variant. All of our staff members from the past month have returned to work, and currently we do have 3 individuals out. So, all contracted outside of East Castle, as we do know how rapidly, quickly the Omicron variant spreads. Since December as well, we have had 5 residents in between the health center, CBRF, or the Memory Support Neighborhood, and Water Tower and Independent Living test positive. So at this time, we have no current residents who are positive for COVID, which is fantastic. So we are offering testing for our staff still on Tuesday and Friday. If you feel that you are symptomatic and would like a PCR, you are able to go down to the Water Tower entrance and get a PCR test readily taken. Just bring your insurance card if you are symptomatic and not feeling super well or feel as if you were exposed in that aspect. Return times on the test are around 3 to 7 days right now. So if you can get a rapid, which will lead me to my next question, from an Walgreens, a CVS, Costco, something along those lines, your family brings it in, or if you'd like to go out to a Walgreens provider to get a PCR, sometimes their turnaround is quicker. But due to the uptick in COVID cases over the past month, that is why labs are further delayed, is because so many people are now getting tested. And then for my question, since we are a senior facility, is there a chance we can get KN95 masks and COVID rapid tests? So we are offering, again, the PCR there for anyone in the community. It's not required, it's not mandated, but it is a service that we do have contracted out. For KN95s, we are offering surgical masks or medical grade masks at the front desk if you need one. And I do recommend everyone wear a medical grade mask, as these are covered under, you know, the CDC in terms of it being appropriate and made correctly. We are not giving out KN95s due to the fact that not all KN95 masks are made the same. About 60% of KN95 masks are not meeting the medical grade. They're still doing a good job. You know, they're still better than just an at-home cloth mask. But with the pandemic starting in March 2020, a lot of different companies started making masks and PPE in bulk. And so some of the KN95 masks that are on certain shelves in grocery stores do not meet that medical grade and are similar to, you know, just the general mask. They're still doing a good job. Don't throw them out if you don't know what you have. Keep wearing them, absolutely. But that is why we are not just providing those, because we obviously want to always get the medical grade masks and as well as having them fit properly. And then from a COVID rapid test standpoint, we are allocated COVID rapid tests from the government, and it's specific to testing our more at-risk residents, specifically our sicker residents. So individuals who are in the health center, CBRF, and water towers. So we get about 4 boxes a month. And if we are in an outbreak, after someone tests positive, we have to rapid test them. And there's only 40 tests in a box. So those go pretty quick, as you can imagine. But that being said, I know they're not on the shelves right now at Walgreens. People have been taking them in bulk. You can order 4 at-home COVID tests off of your computer. And I can provide you the web link if you'd like to write this down. It's very easy. So it's www.covidtests.gov. And we can have that posted. Lila also has that information at the front desk if you have questions. But again, they will be mailed directly to your house, and they're starting right around this time now. The government is at the end of this month. So I signed up for one. I know Jen and I were just talking that she signed up for one. So it's definitely, I highly recommend it at-home test. And then one thing that's not on the agenda that I also would like to announce is our change in therapy providers. So at the last State of the Castle, I talked about how we were changing therapy providers from Encore Rehab to now TMC Rehab. That being said, all of our therapists on site will maintain providing therapy to you all. They essentially are just going to have a new company that gives them a paycheck. We're very excited about TMC. They're going to be able to offer more fall prevention education, one-on-one if you have a question, as well as just monthly recurrent education and for our independent living residents. So it's very exciting. One thing that you will see on the calendars for next month is on February 3rd, so a week from today, actually exactly a week from today on this hour, 1 o'clock, TMC will be on site and doing a meet and greet with you all where they will have cake, punch, stop by, meet them, ask questions, pick their brain on any education seminars and so on, as they will be in the club room for an hour or two. Any questions for me? Thank you.
All right. Well, I will actually just dovetail off of Lindsay's TMC comment. As you'll be seeing your calendars for February on your ledges probably tomorrow. And with that, you will see that there is the meet and greet therapy company in the club room. I also just want to give a few other highlights. I was working along with Scott McPherson, James Green, who I also introduced right after this, and Mike Brever. We met with the Community Life Committee on Tuesday evening. We're meeting twice a month, and they reviewed this calendar as well, giving input and things of that nature. The idea for February is really to get back to quote-unquote normal, right? What is normal? That's a loaded question that we won't resolve today. However, we are going to be opening up the dining room, and we also will be opening back up to kind of those roving bar type of events and larger group events. The reason for that is because A, you as residents are 100% vaccinated. 2, the staff are nearly 98% vaccinated. C, I don't know, I was doing 1, 2, and 3, sorry. Well, 3, you can go out to Cafe Hollander, Sendex, you can go to a Bucks game, the Symphony, things of that nature. And so I want to try to maybe allure you to staying in, where I know across the table your neighbor's vaccinated and we're in a safer environment. Again, this is subject to change, but in working with the Community Life Committee, they were comfortable going in this direction. So you will see things on the calendar like the roving bar on February 9th. For Valentine's Day, we have a special duo of Yuri and Daniel Bevelowski coming. They'll be playing the violin and piano in Lindsay Hall on February 14th. And shortly thereafter, following marketing, Anna Landis and her team are going to be doing a special wine and dessert tasting for you all right here in Lindsay Hall as well. We also have the shopping trips, things of that nature. Black History Month, of course, is in February, so you'll see various activities and celebrations regarding that. And to really end the month, in working with Scott, he did some research, and the Black Holocaust Museum has been reopened, and it is reopening towards the end of February, and it's actually open on Sunday, February 27th, beginning at 1 p.m. So if we get enough interest in that event, we will take a bus, transportation to that museum. I also want to note early on in February, February 5th, Ernest Shackleton Loves Me at the Skylight Theater. That is a sign up only. It may already be full. I know there was 1 or 2 spots left. That is on Saturday as well. So those were just some highlights. Again, we'll be putting out the weekly highlights as well, but your monthly calendar will hit your doors probably tomorrow. Also with that, James, if you don't mind joining me just up front here shortly, I'll just do an introduction. No speech will be required.
All right.
James, yeah, I know. Didn't want to put you off guard. James Green will be joining us, and he is filling the role of independent living and memory support activity coordinator. So the position that was formerly held by Cooper, James will fill those shoes in working closely with the resident committees as well as you all. The other nice addition between him and his counterpart Jerry in memory support, we're bringing back trivia and bingo on Sundays, so that will be in Lindsay Hall as well. So James will get acclimated to the community. This is his second week with us, and I look forward to what James will bring to the department as well as to you as residents, and I'm truly looking forward for him to get to know you. So
Excited to be here, excited to meet you all.
thank you, James. All right, and now back to the regular scheduled program. Eric Peterson, our Director of Facilities, has a question. Well, we'll answer a question.
Thank you, Tyler. I do have just an update first, just as a reminder. You did get a memo in the mail this week. Next week, Monday at 2 o'clock, they're going to be doing what they call an AV test, which is an audio and visual test of our fire alarm devices. This is done once a year. Probably lasts somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes between the historic and contemporary buildings. On Tuesday, February 1st, that's when they're going to be coming from apartment to apartment that you live in to test the devices in your apartment. So they'll be accompanied by a East Castle Place maintenance person. That way we're getting them in and out, plus we make you feel more comfortable if you're not home that someone, a representative from East Castle is doing that. Also, just a follow-up was, last time we met, we talked about the fence post that was missing out front from the fence near the gazebo courtyard that has been since replaced. And then just a reminder about, this is the winter season, and we're finally getting some snow. So just a reminder to be very careful about what shoes you're wearing and walking outside. I recommend you stick to our main entrances. Those tend to be part of our first round of cleanups, is those main entrances as well as the parking lots. And we work on the city and then internal walks as well. So just try to stick towards those, because I know those are well salted and taken care of, and I don't want to see anyone slipping or falling out there. As for the question, is painting of the hallways on schedule for contemporary and historic? It is on schedule. I have not sent the memo out yet. That was on my to-do list. That is going to be starting mid-February. It could be as soon as the 10th. I didn't want to send something out too early based on the painter making sure they're available and there's no delays due to COVID or what have you. The painter we're bringing in is vaccinated and such, so there's no concerns there. We'll be masked when she's painting. We're going to start on the 4th floor of contemporary. We're going to work that through, and then we'll work our way down to the 1st floor. When she's there, we'll probably have some signage up so no one's bumping into walls, doors, door frames, things like that. So a memo will be going up this week to kind of clarify some of those questions, but it'll be that second full week of February. Our paint will be starting on the 4th floor of contemporary. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Eric. The next individual up is Majarka. Majarka will provide an update from a food and beverage standpoint. Majarka, probably the most exciting news of the day.
It is. So we're very excited. So starting next week, Tuesday, the dining room is going to be reopened for dinner at 5 p.m. I know originally we thought Monday, but we're just going to have a clean start with February 1st. The dining room will resume for normal service. We are going to continue delivering free of charge through the end of February for those who are uncomfortable with coming down to the dining room. We will kind of reevaluate a little bit before that time to see if we'll reinstate the $5 delivery charge. But for now, it'll be free of charge till the end of February. Another kind of exciting update is we right now are working on kind of updating the extra offerings that we have every day. We are going to show this to the Food and Beverage Committee next week. So we hope to have a little revamped menu for you guys starting on Monday, February 7th. But that's kind of all we have. We're excited to see you guys. We're eager to see your smiling faces again. Any questions? Wonderful.
All right, so thank you, Majarka. The one note that you will see in the memo that will be provided either later today or tomorrow, we are still going to be requiring you to wear masks in the community. Obviously, it's very difficult to eat dinner while masked, and so at that point, you may take your masks off. However, we do ask that you wear your masks down to the community or to the dining room, and when you are walking throughout the community, just as a further safety measure. But again, that will be in writing as well. The next individual up, of course, does not need too much introduction. Mike Brever, our Director of Philanthropy, we'll try to follow up the exciting news of the dining room being open February 1st. Take it away, Mike.
Thank you, Tyler. As far as I'm concerned, we can begin with the exciting news that I can talk without my mask on. That's exciting in and of itself. I just have a couple of updates for you today. First of all, our board president, Ken, told you a little while ago about the construction project that's going to begin March, April, whenever we get everything in place. That opens up an opportunity which probably won't be of interest to most of you, but it may be of interest to family members that you have or friends that you have, especially if they have a rec room in their basement, they work in their garage, maybe they have a summer home in northern Wisconsin. The appliances that we have had in the units that are going to be renovated will be put up for sale. These are all used appliances, but they're in relatively good condition. We have refrigerators, we have electric ranges, we have microwaves. Given the fact that the units that we have in floors 1 and 2 on Bradford are basically going to be gutted because all of our assisted living individuals are moving over there, we're even willing to sell base cabinets and wall hung cabinets. Countertops, if anybody's interested and wants to take them off. Prices are going to be extremely reasonable. Come and see me and we'll work something out. The only condition of this is that if you buy a refrigerator and you get it home and it doesn't work, you can come and get another one, but we don't want the old one back. You're responsible for that old one, and now you'll have two. This is only going to be in place through the end of February, right? Everything has to be out by March 1st. And we're opening this up to staff as of tomorrow as well. So if you have friends or relatives that, again, you wouldn't put these in your kitchen. But if you have a summer home, if you have a rec room in the basement, these would be ideal. And they're available to be seen. People can come. All they have to do is call me, and I'll be glad to get them through there, and we can talk about the prices. So that's the very first thing. Second of all, thank all of you on behalf of all of the hourly employees that benefit from the Employee Appreciation Fund. You know that this year we had a tremendous response from all of you. Our staff were able to get the same bonus as they received last year. However, it's 2022 and we have to start thinking about the new one. Many of your neighbors have taken advantage of a monthly option for contributions to ease the financial strain of making a one-time donation at the end of the year. From the months of January through October, you can make contributions on a monthly basis. So in essence, 10. January's obviously come and gone. There are 9 months left. In order to take advantage of an option like this, we have got to have a signed contract in order to bill you on a monthly basis. I know you can't all see this from there, but it's just a one-page contract. Maybe you folks watching at home can see some of this. It's a one-page contract. You just fill in the amount and you sign it. You can come and see me. I have these. Brad has these as well. You can go talk to Brad about this as well. You may have seen Brad already, and he may have updated information, but as far as I know, none of you have signed contracts for monthly contributions this coming year. Those of you who were, very generous last year and had them, those contracts expired when the EAF 2021 ended. You need to sign a new one for the coming year. So come see me, come see Brad, and there's only, 9 months left now. But you can do it anytime during the year. Some people start up in July and they have half of that. They have 5 payments then, instead of 10. So whatever, it's up to you. But you do need a new contract if you are at all interested in doing that. Thirdly, Treasure Chest is reopened back to its normal hours, Mondays from 2 to 4, Fridays from 10 until noon. We have gone back to a pre-COVID situation with the treasure chest. Excuse me, we are accepting cash again. We are accepting cash and cards. You can bring your credit cards, you can bring your debit cards. You know, you can shop with cash, credit, or debit cards. Our volunteers are trained to assist you in any one of those options. You remember back in September, we awarded 11 scholarships. 9 of them were given out immediately. 2 of them were held until January because the employees who were awarded scholarships had not yet worked for us for 6 months. And that's a requirement of the scholarships. I'm pleased to say that Nicole Wagoner and Mary Hoffman are still in our employ. They are still students of higher education. They received their scholarships last week, and so now the 11 that we awarded in September are complete, which brings our total to 35 scholarships awarded since we began the treasure chest. A little bit over $37,000 has been awarded thus far. We already have $10,000 set aside for this coming September, so it's going to be another good year. I do have to tell you though, Bruce and Margaret Berg are moving, and they've been longtime volunteers of the treasure chest. The treasure chest volunteers said goodbye to them earlier this week. We read off the list of volunteers when Bruce and Margaret and the treasure chest started 4 years ago at their going away social. All we've done is lost names from that list, with the exception of 3 or 4 people that have joined since then. We have room. In fact, we have open slots in the month of February if anybody wants to sign up. You will be working with an experienced person your first couple times. Then we're going to throw you in the deep end and you'll be one of the trainers after that. But it's very simple. You know, you're basically just helping people, answering a question or two. And you know, there's typically 2 or 3 of you doing it. If you're interested, there is always a sign-up book at the front desk. Feel free to put your name on one of the slots or come see me. We are going to have somebody in the position that Margaret used to have, so you'll have a resident you can talk to as well in the future. But in the short term, that's how you can do it. And you are welcome to join us. It's a very rewarding thing and people truly benefit from it. There are a couple other things coming up in the very near future. I know it's January, but believe it or not, planting season for our garden isn't that far off. That is supported financially by contributions from all of you. It doesn't cost that much on an annual basis to host that garden. Maybe $1,000 a year, Kathy? Would that be about right?
Last year was a big year. I think in most years it will not be that much.
Okay. I think towards the end of last year, we actually raised about $500 as a jump start for this coming year. We're not starting at zero, but if you want to support the Garden Fund, let me remind you, East Castle Place is a 501c3. It's a charity. Your contributions are tax deductible. Come and see me. We can accept your contribution and we'll include it on your letter at the end of the year. Some of you got letters this past year and were confused by the amounts on your tax letters. It's because everything you give in any capacity to East Castle Place is a charitable contribution. And so that sum on the letter that you received reflects all of that. So come see me if you would like to support the Garden Committee. Another project which we're going to be taking on in the very near future through the Community Enrichment Fund, we're going to be adding electric openers to the door that goes out to the rooftop garden. The Community Enrichment Committee has decided that that is something we will do. It'll be early spring that we take it on. We're looking at raising about $4,000 for that. I can assure you though, for those of you that have an accessibility challenge, you're using a walker, you're in a wheelchair, this will make your ability to enjoy that garden all the better. All you'll have to do is push a button to get out, push a button to get back in. That's an upgrade that we're all looking forward to. We'll have more information about that if you're at all interested. Ken also talked about the construction that's going to be starting probably in about 2 months, something like that. We're going to be talking more about that in the months to come. There's going to be an opportunity to create a legacy for friends of yours or maybe for your family. Opportunities that we'll explain more as we get into this. But we may have plaques throughout the campus that'll have some names on it for donors of things. Opportunities for a name maybe to go on something. So watch for more conversations on that. There are also a couple of friend-raisers that we have coming up in the very near future. Friend-raisers, not fundraisers. The first one is a paint and sip. We actually planned it for January, but COVID got in the way. This is a place up on Silver Spring Drive that we're going to be going to on a Friday evening from 5:30 to 7:30. For those of you that are like me, you are all thumbs when it comes to artwork. Be of good cheer. This is an easy thing to do and a lot of fun. There will be appetizers, there's going to be drinks, there will be a skilled artist. It's about the closest thing to paint by numbers as you can imagine. And we have been instructed by the company that hosts these events that they are going to be checking vaccination cards. It will be open to people outside East Castle Place. Board members, staff might want to bring a family member, a spouse or something. Vaccination cards are going to be checked. So you can feel comfortable if you want to enjoy this, that everybody will have the same status that you do. Second of all, towards the end of March, on the 24th of March, right here in Lindsay Hall, we're going to have the return of the appraisal fair. If you remember that from 2 or 3 years ago, Sherry Reilly, a good friend of mine, came. 20 of you were able to bring an item down, which she was able to give you an estimate of a value for. She also was able to tell you a little bit about the history of it. We had some wonderful offerings that came down 2 or 3 years ago. I'm looking forward to a very, very fun event. It'll be from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. 20 items will be reviewed. Last but not least, we've put this off for 2 years now, but we're hopeful that sometime this summer, we're going to have a Brewers game. We're planning on going on a Sunday afternoon, a giveaway day. I know you all can't wait to get those bobbleheads. So we're probably going to go on a day when you're going to be able to get something like that. That's all I have. If you have any questions for what I talked about just now, or earlier this week on your ledges, I gave each of you a copy of my winter newsletter. Any questions about anything like that I can answer now, or you can come and see me in my office at any time. All right, thank you very much. I'll turn it back to Tyler.
All right, thank you, Mike. Always a difficult act to follow, that Mike Reaver. So, especially with the first topic that I get to talk about. You may have received a memo yesterday. Our salon provider, unfortunately, has decided that they cannot provide service to East Castle Place. Unfortunately, they did not fulfill the termination obligation, which is 60 days, which they would have been able to provide the service for during that time. And so I'm working through that piece. In the meantime, we are working diligently to try to find a provider that can do hair in the salons appropriately. I've been asked, well, can you cut hair? I can cut hair. But you do not want me cutting hair. I soon have to cut Hunter's hair. He's getting it over the ears. Waiting for my wife to do that. But no, in all seriousness, I apologize, as I do know the salon is a service that you all expect, as you should expect. And I apologize that we cannot fulfill that at this time. Do know I'm working very diligently to find that replacement. I do want a long-term partner in the salon, not just a short-term solution. If it's a temporary solution for a short time that is of quality, we may go that direction. So ultimately it came back to a staffing concern for the salon. But again, we've been working in over 2 years of COVID with staffing, and so I understand the concern, but ultimately we still have an obligation to you as residents. So my sincere apologies. The question that is next, any chance that residents can be informed about employee changes? It would be nice to know the names of new staff, like receptionists, transportation, etc. And so with that, we will do our best to inform you of changes and new additions. And at this time also, I'll probably have Anna introduce Alyssa as a new marketing coordinator very briefly. You were introduced to James. And so again, our hope is obviously to maintain our current wonderful staff. And as positions turn over for whatever reason that may be, we want to make sure you are introduced appropriately to them. However, it is difficult to go down and do a formal invitation of each employee that's brought on to East Castle Place, kind of even on a monthly basis. We hire on average roughly 20 to 25 individuals every 3 months. And so again, a lot of that is in different areas that you may not see. The one area that you will see probably most prevalent of maybe a new face, I know with February 1st, you'll see a few new faces in the dining room that are serving you, that are taking care of your food orders. But they'll have their name tags on. I'm sure they'll give you the warm, friendly greeting, and I'm sure you'll give that greeting back to them. And give them about a week, and I'm sure that you'll know them. So again, from a formal standpoint, their employee information is kept confidential, of course, but we'll do our best to introduce the employees. So at this time, Anna, do you want to do just a brief introduction of Alyssa?
Sure. Do you want to with me? Sure. Put me on the spot.
I'll let you get on camera.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe not Alyssa, just Anna. But that's Alyssa.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Some of you might have met Alyssa the last couple of Wednesdays. She's been assisting with the roving bar to help to get to know all of you, but we're very excited to welcome her to our team as our marketing and move-in coordinator. So as you know, Heidi and I and Cooper now have been very busy working on selling these new apartments that we're adding to East Castle Place. So with those comes a lot of other conversations and processes that we've brought Alyssa on board to help us with. So we're very excited to have her on the team. She went to Michigan, so happy to chat about that with you. And she majored in Spanish, so spent a little time overseas as well. So if you could join me in welcoming her to East Castle Place, we're very excited to have her.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Anna. All right. The next question is actually a nice lead-in question to the renovation and expansion update. And so the question is, are bonds being issued to pay for the ECP renovation? And if so, will they be issued before interest rates go up? This is where I'd love to have Brad Sitzberger, but he is on a day off. I'd love to bring him up here, so I'll do my best. But no, we do plan to issue tax-exempt bonds that are going to be placed directly with the bank. So it will be privately held. Now, we do anticipate that this will happen in March, and so we anticipate that the rates will not inflate too much ahead of that. Now, again, with that, there is a meeting March 15th and 16th the Federal Reserve will have. But in our financiers' perspective, Piper Sandler, who we're working with, they don't see it as being a large impact on the bond structure that we're going with. So again, it will be a finance project. It will be some added long-term debt to the community. But again, Ken, along with the board of directors, and East Castle Place in and of itself is in a very, very strong position to go into this financing process. Currently, we have 6 banks that are aggressively looking at this project to place the debt, and it will be structured in such that is very amenable to the long-term future of East Castle Place and the financial picture long-term. So that was a very interesting question, and it also kind of gets into a little bit more of the weeds. And so if there are those types of questions, I'm happy to share with you as much as I'm able to from a financing. standpoint, but do know that the long-term impact to you currently as residents is not to inflate your monthly service fees, 10, 20, 30% by any stretch of the imagination. This is to keep us competitive. This is to keep us competitive both from a monthly service fee payment as well as the services and offerings we have here at East Castle Place. So just a few other updates from a renovation standpoint. There's been questions on the naming of the building, of the what will be the new independent living apartments. And previously it was stated that it would be called the Lake Drive Estates. That did not resonate well here at the community level, and we heard that. And so we kind of went back to the drawing board. And so at this time, we will be going with the Lake Drive Terraces.
Lake Terrace.
Lake Terrace, thank you. Lake Terrace is the name of the building instead of Water Tower. And then, not to get everybody confused, but we'll actually be going through a renaming of the buildings and branding, and internally, most likely we'll call them something different. But they'll be Lake Terrace, Maryland Terrace, North Terrace, and Bradford Terrace. That is an homage to the neighborhood that we are in, obviously, and also the streets that are near. So that is the direction we're going. At this point, we're still contemporary, historic. We'll always probably refer to them as that during this time, Water Tower, things of that nature. But know that it's marketed as Lake Terrace is the name of the building. So. From a sales update, I want to commend Anna and her team. We are off to a very, very strong start, and not even off to a strong start, we've been on a strong tear here. We have 17 of the 30 apartments pre-sold.
Wow, great.
So that is over the 50% threshold. Yes, please. That is over the 50% threshold that we need, or the board felt comfortable with in going into financing. It also shows that the market and what the product type that we're offering is something that is wanted. And so with those 17 residents, couples, have committed 10% of that entrance fee to East Castle Place. And now they'll be East Castle residents when their apartments are ready, in roughly 14 to 18 months. So again, that's very strong, both from a financing side, from a construction side, from the market side. The construction timeline, as I referenced, is roughly 14 to 18 months. We are looking to start, as Ken alluded, in April, beginning of April. All the trains, as Ken also said, I'll steal from you, Ken, the trains are coming into the station. So financing, permits, licensure, all of those pieces, contractor, bids for the construction process, because we will get a guaranteed maximum price for this project. All those pieces are aligning. And so we're looking forward to a very busy February as these trains continue to pull into the station, along with a very busy March in anticipation of that early April time frame start. The first step in the construction, and we'll continue to talk about this, in April is Bradford Terrace. Bradford Terrace floors 1 and 2 get a major renovation to turn those into the assisted living apartments. Those are necessary so that when we get those built, licensed, we can move over our current Water Tower residents from Water Tower over into Bradford Terrace. At that time, then we have Water Tower completely vacant and accessible for full renovations. Obviously, the most impact to you will be the common areas, Lindsay Hall, the dining room, all the different things that we have planned for the common areas to bring them up to date as well. That's where it gets a little bit more tricky. That's where it's going to be a lot more conversation with you as to how much, I'll call it pain, how much headache do we want to go through in order to get the project done? Because we can do these in smaller sections and maybe mitigate some of those services that we take offline and how we're bringing things on. Or we may have, a bigger headache for a short amount of time. those are kind of the trade-offs that I think anybody that's gone through a renovation project probably understands. Do you pull a Band-Aid off all at once, or do you kind of take it a little bit piece by piece? Again, we're always going to make sure that the exits are available and entrances and things of that nature. We'll always make sure that the kitchen has food, things of that nature. But it's really just, what does that look like? We're going to want to make sure, obviously, C.G. Schmidt, safety is their top priority for you as well as their workers. And so that's going to be all part of that. They are putting up, when they get into the common areas, partition temporary walls that will be drywalled, but they'll have windows in them so that you can see through and be I'm sure we have a couple superintendents in the crowd that may be interested. So again, I know that this change is change, and right, change is never easy. However, my goal, and I know the board of directors' goal, is to make this as painless as possible for you first and foremost, and I'd like to think for me as well. But I do know that we're going to have some hiccups. We're going to have some potential headaches. But my goal is to always be, hopefully, as on the forefront of that communication with you, so that you can know what's happening and always have a door open and a listening ear for if there are those concerns or you are seeing something. So again, I always will leave you with that. My door is always open to you. If there's questions about this, about anything, you know where to find me. Send me an email. Maureen always can track me down usually too if I'm not in my office. But that's what I'm here for. So that's the expansion and renovation update at this time. Again, I think Anna and her team are doing an incredible job bringing new neighbors as well to you. We have a few neighbors moving in February and in March. So again, the current inventory, as we call it, the current apartments available, yeah, they're still pretty desirable as well. So again, I want to thank you for that, because ultimately you are the ones that make the community. With that wraps up what I have on my agenda. Is there any other questions? The back page was just follow-up from November 23rd. And so it is about the voting. And so Kathy, thank you for bringing that up, because I failed to mention on February 2nd, we are going to have, I'm blanking on her name, somebody here from the Milwaukee County Voting Assistance Commission to assist you if you need help in voting. So again, they'll be going to skilled nursing, assisted living, and the memory care the memory care area to see if there's anything there. But also they'll be in the club room from noon to 2 p.m. So you can come down, ask any questions you have. They'll have some computers. If you need help registering, making sure your address is right, did you get a permanent absentee ballot, things of that nature, they'll be able to assist you. Yes?
What date is that?
February 2nd.
And that's
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Groundhog's Day. Anybody have a bet? It's going to see a shout. Kathy.
Yeah, I'm happy to, if it's a change of address, it may actually be too late, because you have to be in your current address 20 days before the election. So if you don't have to change an address and you just want to check on the status of your absentee ballot or request ballot, I'm happy to help people with that. Just give me a call.
And thank you for putting out the voting information that you have already.
So on another topic, how is the security gate working?
Oh, great question. So how many of you have seen that security gate? It's helping.
Is it?
It is. Unfortunately, there was a car taken, but it was from the Circle Drive lot, which we had never seen before. And it was in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
So, we have footage, we turn that into the police, but the gate seems to be helping. There is a camera right on the gate that looks into the windshields of the cars. So if you do stop, you have to stop at that gate, you will be on camera. And so we can always pull that footage but it definitely has been a deterrent, which was its intended use. So,
Thank you.
yes, that has helped. We also obviously have added on our security team over the third shift. We now have 2 individuals each night on third shift, one at the desk, one that's gathering garbages and kind of doing the rounds outside and in. Again, that's something that we work closely with the resident council on, that came back from the resident satisfaction survey that you noted. Safety and security is important, and we're doing everything we can. Theft is still pandemic. Theft is up over 200% on the east side of Milwaukee alone in cars. I don't understand it. It's very difficult for me to understand, but again, it's something we have to work through. And so again, we're trying to take the precautions necessary to alleviate that. Yes?
Getting back to the voting, when a resident moves from within independent living from apartment to apartment, or from independent living to one of the other units, who is involved with that? Because I think a step that needs to be taken is to help the resident to change their legal address, which has to be through the DMV, either driver's license or Wisconsin ID. Because then they won't have trouble with their voting change.
Good point. And, so who helps in making those transitions? If it's independent living to independent living apartment, usually that's somebody of the likes of Alyssa or Cooper that will help coordinate that, and then that intention would be for the resident to take that on with reminders. If they're moving from independent living to assisted living or skilled nursing, something of that nature, that's Amy and Joe from our health center marketing team. And we can definitely add that to the list of questions that we can have family or ourselves help with. I see Teresa potentially shaking her head. She may be able to give assistance as well.
I think even just a reminder that it needs to be done. Because I know I had a call from a resident to check on an absentee ballot. Well, yes, he was getting an absentee ballot, but his address really technically was not correct because of a different apartment number. So that has to be taken care of as part of that process. And it might just be reminding, and
reminding and helping. Absolutely. So that's a good note. Thank you. Judy?
Are we still having a party for Gary? Did I lose track of that? Or?
Yes, we are, but not till February.
Okay,
so if it was on the calendar for January, I apologize. It should not have been on the weekly calendar. Obviously, with the restrictions we put into place, we moved that. And so that is going to be February 24th at 4 p.m. And that'll be on your monthly calendar. So no retirement party for Gary Aubrey today. Or tomorrow. Or the next day. Or the day after that. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to stop there. February 24th, all things considered. Again, just wanted to make sure it was a smoother environment where we can obviously have cake and punch and things of that nature for Gary as well. So. Yes.
You might want to mention about the January birthday party.
Yes. The January birthday party is upon us. January 31st is Monday. We will be having that in the club room. So I know we had to push and delay that, but we will still get to celebrate those residents that have a birthday in January 31st, Monday, in the club room. Yeah.
We're going to be allowed to have the Wednesday party in Lindsay Hall, is that correct?
That is the roving bar, correct.
Yes.
February 9th.
Then my question is, on Tuesdays, the fourth floor gets together around the elevator for drinks. Will that be allowed?
The Tuesday afternoon social on the floors, I think, can be permissible for those that obviously I want to make sure that you're leaving room for the elevators and the exits and not getting too rambunctious in.
But we are in a common area.
Yes. So again, going to kind of that dining room open kind of concept. And trust me, I know, I'm sure you've had neighbors in your own apartments and things of that nature. Again, I trust, and there has to be a level of trust between myself, the director team, and you as residents. You are independent, you can make those choices. And again, if somebody isn't feeling well, to Lindsay's first point, I would expect that you wouldn't be attending those and you'd be letting Teresa know that, hey, I'm not feeling well. With this last 2 years, I know that's something that we've had to establish with our employees as well as I think with each other, right? We need to do what's right for us. If I'm under the weather, I shouldn't be, out and about, so to speak. So, and I mean, if you have your fourth floor socials,
Thank you.
anybody else having any socials? No, I'm just kidding. Any other questions that anybody has? All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Do stay warm. I think this heat wave is not going to be forever, unfortunately. But hey, the Brewers and spring training is right around the corner. So we have that to look forward to. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.